What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today is episode 251. First episode post 250. We're entering a new era of Waterboy podcasting. And week zero college football is wrapped, Everett. I know it wasn't necessarily the most exciting weekend in terms of, entertainment. I believe last year USC had
speak
a
for
zero.
yourself. Speak for yourself. I will say Georgia Tech FSU, one hell of a game.
I would say the game I think I would have enjoyed the game a little bit more if either team could throw the football, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
I would just like to say
it was very Big Ten.
I was surprised that they did not run out of beers this time. If you remember priorly in Ireland, beers were
okay. You bring up a very good point. Out. This was the big thing last year. I would say, other than the portal between Times Square, New York, and Ireland, this is probably the biggest.
What's that? That was Ireland. It was.
Yeah. This is probably the biggest thing that Ireland has made it into the American sports news by that nature. But yeah, I would say, why are we doing this? Why do we play in Ireland between Florida State and Georgia Tech? Oh yeah,
last year was Northwestern, right? Or was that 2 years?
Last year was Notre Dame, I believe. Which makes sense.
2 years ago was Northwestern.
There probably is
some Georgia Tech maybe has some Nordic. Oh no, they had the Nordic knot, not an Irish knot. I don't know what their deal was.
I don't know. I'm not sure who selected Florida State. I don't know why we have an ACC conference matchup over the pond to kick off week zero. But
before it was Big Ten and it was Northwestern was the chosen team. So clearly the committee is not
understand how
a great job.
maybe there's someone in the playoff committee who lives in Ireland or has some connect. I don't know why we're playing in Ireland.
Maybe they just knew FSU was going to lose, and for the sanctity of the players on FSU, they had to not have them play in Florida.
We could go with that route too. I also just think it's mean to make DJU play in a primetime game with everyone watching him week zero. There's not even other games on, and we're already putting DJ under the microscope. Like, that was mean. That was mean. That was pretty mean.
Not very respectful of DJ Uigalele.
Yeah, it was
Ugalele.
We'll take that.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, I've had my attempt saying his name. I've been toasted so many times. So DJU, that's what we'll be calling him on this podcast for the foreseeable future. DJU.
I don't even know if he gets the respect of the U now. It just might be DJ.
Yeah, when you say DJU, you think you're talking about some school being like DBU. So it's like, whoa, I don't want to associate that connotation with DJ.
DJU is the inverse. It's whatever school has DJ. It just immediately, downgraded.
Yeah, I mean, I was just having a very fun time on Twitter for that game, seeing Clemson fans reacting to Florida State fans being like, first half reactions, Florida State fans saying like, if you think this is DJ's fault, you're absolutely wrong. And it's Clemson fans quote tweeting Florida State fans from 4 years ago of them all laughing at Clemson fans who would say, if you think DJ's the problem, you're wrong. And it's Florida State's mocking them. And it's now Clemson fans mocking Florida State fans who are saying DJ's not the problem. It's a full circle, guys. The more things change, the more they say the same. So that's one big thing.
It's the James Franco meme of first time. It's him.
Yes.
It's from whatever movie it's with him with the news.
I don't know what movie that's from.
No idea what movie that's from, but great
iconic meme right there.
Image,
Yeah, you could say kind of like how the Patriots are going through their Joe Milton experience, really undergoing it from the ground level. Like Patriots fans, New England fans in general, they don't really watch college sports. College sports on the East Coast isn't quite too big. College football is not too large in that Northeast area, so. No. Most of them don't really keep up with college football.
I'm trying to think what's like the biggest Northeast program. Is it Boston College?
I guess. I don't know.
Like
I don't
probably
know.
over Rutgers.
Like basketball is its own thing with Big East basketball. Of course, that's
That's
its own
its own
thing.
thing. And to
Football,
be
though,
fair, we're talking specifically upper East Coast, like not we're talking
yeah,
about
I'm
Northeast.
no, yeah, I'm talking like
Like
Massachusetts, New York, and then like Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, Delaware.
hey, Maine
That
Maine lobsters,
cluster.
Maine State.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
might be it. Yeah,
our
that might be
program, we got our own things that we need to build over there in Maine State.
it.
But yeah, I guess we could start off with this game. I also got ACC position ranking, so that could quickly take us out of quickly going over this first game. But first thing that I want to say about Florida State Georgia Tech is I think two things can both be true at the same time. Maybe Florida State was a little overhyped from last year.
A little?
Maybe Florida State was a little overhyped. And also, maybe Georgia Tech was a little underrated. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle. I would say when it comes to Florida State, they, based off of comparing them to last year's team, they essentially downgraded at every single position group. Just like
I think quite literally
essentially downgraded at every single position group.
Yeah.
And they obviously replaced Jordan Travis with DJ Uiagalelei, who I think the verdict is out on who DJ is as a college quarterback. So that probably isn't the recipe for success that you're looking for. But I will say, as a man who picked Clemson and Miami to face off in the ACC championship game.
Looking pretty good right now.
What a weekend for Waterboy.
Yeah, looking pretty good.
What a weekend for Waterboy Grant, all I got to say. And that's a conference loss. So that does impact ACC.
Now, the unfortunate thing is if Georgia Tech comes through and just explodes your whole bracket, busts your bracket there.
Now, I think I would be afraid of that. But from what I saw of Georgia Tech this Saturday, last Saturday, yeah, I'm not very afraid of them. They're
running the NCAA playbook. NCAA 25 playbook.
May have been a 5-star quarterback. May have made some noise in that Elite 11. I remember Haynes King had a lot of talking points in that series, but he can't throw. He just runs. Great dual threat option quarterback running the football. Yeah, he's great with the ball in his hands. But when Georgia Tech has to play Clemson or something, that happens. Like, oh, yikes. That won't be very fun for them. Yeah, I think that game showed me this is Clemson's conference and we're all living in it. On paper, I think Miami does have the talent to stack up with Clemson. We just have to see that happen. I'm projecting right now for Miami to perform up to Clemson.
You've been very high on Miami this whole offseason.
Yeah, one thing you can trust a Dabo Swinney-led team to improve.
You cannot trust a Mario Cristobal team to improve, though. That's the inverse.
Well, this is the thing. I think you can trust them to improve over time. Seeing what he did at Oregon, he really, really stepped Oregon's game up when he showed up.
Yeah, but how long has he been at Miami now?
I believe it's year 2.
There's no way. I thought he's in year 3 now.
I think it's year 2.
Last year was
this is year 3. This is year 3.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought.
This is year 3, and Everett, going off the numbers, it was year 3. Okay, first year 2017, he only coached 1 game. That doesn't really count. So I'm gonna say it took him 4 years at Oregon to get to the level to go into Columbus, walk into Ohio State without.
So in theory, it should be 3 years.
We're a year away.
Miami. Well, no, in theory, it should be 3 years at Miami just because it's Miami, which means your ability to recruit and stuff increases from Oregon.
By nature, yes. And Miami did show that recruiting this year. Shout out Justin Scott. I will always remember when you were a Buckeye for about 2 months. He now plays for the Miami Hurricanes. They picked it up big on the D-line staff. I believe they also picked up, this is all off the top of my head, D-line recruiting Miami. They also picked up a big-time defensive lineman recruit, Marquise Lightfoot. Yep. Hit that one. Okay. Yeah, I know Miami because we're in a lot of battles.
Is that your niche trivia category?
Miami defensive line football recruiting under Mario Cristobal? Maybe that is it. Maybe that is my niche category. But Based off of the Oregon track record, Cristobal, actually, year 3, Cristobal, 2019 Oregon went 12-2, won the Rose Bowl with Justin Herbert. But he did have Justin Herbert, so it's pretty nice when you have
he has
Herbert.
Cam Ward, so I mean,
not quite the same.
Herbie, not Herbie, but I mean Cam Ward's still nice,
decent, good signal caller. Miami. I'm spending a lot of time about them when this should be about Florida State. Florida State, though, the good news is under this new system, 12 team playoff format, season's not over.
Not over until next week.
You can afford to lose 2 games. They could lose next week, and they're technically still in it. This is a thing, actually, I've been hearing the other day. I want you to ponder this real quick. What record do we cut off teams from being in the playoff? Is it at 10, below 10-2? So once you're at 9-3, 3 losses or more, you're out.
I think 3. Look, the SEC is always going to be if there's a 9-3 SEC team, their 3 losses are versus like Georgia, Bama.
I think it depends who, but yes, I'm with you. But
I'm saying if it's 3 losses and that at least 2 of the 3 are versus like the very good teams, like the number 1 and 2 teams in the SEC, there's an argument for that, right? But I think in any other conference, if you have 3 losses, you need to give me a very, very, very good convincing reason of why they should be in the playoffs this year. Because I legitimately would not understand why you would do that over a team that's got 10-2, 11-1, right? Like, there's only 12 teams. You think right now is a lot, but when you go down a cut day, it's really not going to seem like that much.
Essentially, it's 5 conference champs, 7 at-larges. So really, we're thinking of 7 teams here that make the cut.
Well, are you saying counting that conference champ as G5 too? Or
yeah. So 5 teams are auto in, no questions asked, out of the way. It's up to those next 7 who then gets in, who gets those other spots. I was just thinking, I was, kind of discussing with folks of different fandoms all over the country in terms of their perspectives, and the collective line that most opinions I'm hearing is that they believe at minimum every single year, at least 4 of those 7 will go to the Big Ten and the SEC.
That is cool.
I think that's not a hot take. But, I think that's kind of
if the top 3 teams for 1 year in the SEC, let's say you have a team that's undefeated.
Okay, I got an example for you.
Okay,
the Tennessee Volunteers, they come into the season as the number 15th ranked team. I believe they have 3 games against top 10 opponents right now. So yeah, Tennessee, let's say they go 9-3, okay? 9-3, they do not make it to the SEC championship game, and these are their 3 losses. On the road at Oklahoma, and let's say Oklahoma makes the playoffs. So their losses on the road to an Oklahoma team in the playoff. They play Georgia at home and they play Alabama at home and Georgia on the road. Let's say they lose to both, and one of those teams wins the SEC Conference Championship. Doesn't matter. So
here's my
Does Tennessee get in for losing their 3 games that meant something?
No, and let me tell you why. Because you just said Oklahoma is in the playoffs.
Let's say they make it.
Yeah. So the only way Oklahoma's in that situation, if between Georgia and Bama win the SEC championship, is either Oklahoma played in the SEC championship and lost.
Well, I have a route for Oklahoma to get in and look good.
But this is what I'm saying. If we're gonna assume the SEC championship, Tennessee's not in there, right? And we're gonna assume Oklahoma didn't play in there, but they are in the playoffs, right? Let's assume it's Bama, Georgia, SEC championship, or maybe Bama, Texas, whatever, right?
In this scenario, I'm saying Texas didn't make it. So yeah.
Okay. Still, let's say it's Bama, Georgia, whatever the fuck, right? Those top 2 teams, the only conceivable way Tennessee at 9-3 would make it is if the winner of Georgia or Bama, right? If one of them played in the conference championship, Oklahoma played in the conference championship and lost, and Tennessee was the 3rd ranked team in the SEC. If there's a team above Tennessee in the SEC, even if they're 9-3, that team would get in over Tennessee. And also, you already have two other teams in Oklahoma and who between Bama or Georgia, whoever would make it. So there's no conceivable way
I am looking
that
at
I could see Tennessee getting in at 9-3, because that would mean 4 teams from the SEC would be making it, if not 5 potential teams from the SEC making it.
let's just
and with
say
3
4.
losses,
say Texas sucks.
Right? Like it just conceivably, there's not a strong enough argument to me for
But is
that.
it more so with your thinking that there will always be enough 10-2 teams? More so
I'm not
that
saying that. Every
because
season's
I
different. So I'm
completely agree that, honestly, let me go through just the last 3 seasons, see how many 10-2 teams there were before bowl season. I'm pretty sure I can look that up. I'm curious what the number is. I honestly do not know, because that will help out a lot here. So let me look up.
Yeah, I mean, I think every season is different. And I think if you have a bad season and there's a lot of teams in the let's say Big 12, Big 10, ACC that are all around sitting around 9-3, because there's more teams in those conferences now. There's going to be more teams losing, right?
Yeah, low key. I think Big 10 and SEC have like 18 each. It's like, what?
There's going to be more teams that are playing each other that are good. There's going to be more
the
teams
Big 10
that are
is
good that
almost
are
at 20,
losing, which is fine. It's fucking ironic, but because of that, you have certain weights. But if you have so let's think about this. All right, let's make a perspective bracket right now. Okay, let's say let's say right now, Grant, you're gonna need to write this down for me while I'm just speaking it. All right.
Okay.
All right. Or try and remember. So let's say, and you're hypothetical here. All right. First 5 teams in. Let's say I'm not gonna do Rat Poison, so I'm not gonna say Tulane for G5. Let's say fucking Boise State makes the G5. Something's going on over there.
You will be shocked at the amount of 10-2 teams on an annual basis.
Give me a number.
Last year there were 16 teams 10-2 or better going into.
I don't know if I feel like that's a lot or a little.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
It's like a weird, yeah. It's a weird.
I don't know if that's crazy or not.
But okay, so let's just say this. Let's say Boise State.
Because I'm looking at it. If it looks like more often than not, there's a double-digit number of 10+ win teams, then I don't think we'll have this problem. I think that might.
I think it's also, you can't use that as reference, because now more of those good teams that would not be are playing each other in comparison to before. So let's just say this, Grant. Let's do this as an example. Let's do this as an exercise.
Oh my god, the year before there were too many.
Let's do this as an exercise in 2022. Yeah.
Okay.
But let's do this as a little exercise. Right. Let's do this as an exercise. Okay.
10-2.
Let's say Boise State makes it on the G5. Let's say that's a G5 team. Okay. So that's one of the 5 seeds. Okay. Let's say Georgia wins SEC.
Keep going. Okay. I'm gonna start writing it down in a second.
I got balloons coming out around me.
Okay. Yep. Now I noticed that too. All right. I got pen and paper. Coming. All right. Okay. I'm good now. Right.
Boise State wins the G5.
Okay. So
Georgia wins
Boise.
Georgia wins SEC.
1 seed Georgia. Got it.
Miami wins the ACC.
3 seed Miami. Got it.
Okay. Let's say out of the Big 10, Ohio State.
Got it. Number 2, Ohio State.
So we're missing one more seed, right?
We are missing the Big 12 champ. Who will be representing the Big 12?
Let's say Utah. Utah out of the Big 12.
Utah, right? Number 4.
Let's say Utah out of the Big 12. For reference, Tulane will win the G5, but I'm not getting into that.
No rat poison.
So no rat poison.
None on this.
Okay, so those are the first 5 seeds settled. All right, out of 12. All right. Notre Dame. Let's pencil Notre Dame in there.
Where?
Just respect. We're just going through numbers as a team.
Notre Dame makes
as a team.
Notre Dame goes 10-2 and makes it.
In this situation, like we were just talking about, let's have Oklahoma in there. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So now we're at 7.
I'm looking at their schedule. It seems very difficult for them to make it.
All right. We're just talking about a hypothetical. You can do Oklahoma / Bama right now. Just, whatever. Doesn't matter.
I'm going to just write in Bama and Oregon.
Just put. Yes. That was going to be my next one to say Oregon. All right. So what are we? We're at, I guess, 9 right now, right?
Wait, Bama, Oregon, and Notre Dame. Okay.
Yes, we
Notre
should be at
Dame
9.
gets it.
Are we at 8 or 9?
8.
8. All right. So as of right now, we have
5
two Big
more
Ten teams. But as of right now, we have 2 Big Ten teams and 2 SEC teams. All right.
As of right now, true. Yes.
As of right now. So now we get into these last 4 teams that is going to come to question. And this is a situation where if you're thinking about a 9-3 Tennessee, would they get one of those bids? And based off of this thought, no, they don't. They would not get one. Like there's just no way. I mean, you had to choose between Clemson still. Like, let's just make a little list of these last teams that might get the bids. All right. Let's just think about this for those last 4 spots. Okay. We've got Clemson in there. We've got, we're going to end up having some team we got a Penn State, maybe a Michigan. I really don't know, but I'm just lobbying teams.
We can get into more Michigan stuff later.
We're just lobbying teams.
Some updates on them. You know what?
Okay, but we're just lobbying teams.
We'll go off last year. Actually, this will be so much easier. Let's make the 12-team playoff from last year. This will be a fun exercise. Okay, I'm going off of their week 15.
But
things would change. I'm
using an example. There are 4 teams left. All right, the teams that are going to be in that race. You do have Tennessee, but you have Oklahoma, you have Ole Miss, you have Texas. You're going to end up having Clemson. You're going to have
under these scenarios. I would say. Okay, with these 8 in, confidently, I'm going to add Texas in. Texas is in. Not thinking twice about that. Right now,
Oklahoma or Ole Miss, maybe.
Well, right now we're at 3 SEC.
So when you get this is the purpose of this example.
Right now, though, after those, let's say I'm going off of last year. This is actually perfect. Last year, 4 teams were ranked 10 and 2. They occupied 9, 10, 11, and 12 in the polls. One of them would not have made it because a G5 guaranteed in. So one of those 4 wouldn't be in. I'm going to tell you those 4 teams, and you're going to tell me what you think would happen. 3 are from the SEC. 1 is from the Big Ten. These are the 4 teams, all 10 and 2. Missouri, and this is the order they rank them in: Missouri, Penn State, Ole Miss, Oklahoma. Under that scenario, I would.
All 10 and 2,
according to what the College Football Playoff thought.
But I'm saying, is that the rankings?
That's what the playoff committee put. Missouri, Penn State, Ole Miss, Oklahoma.
Yes.
With Louisville on the outside looking in because they lost. Wait. Yeah, they lost conference championship.
But I just, the whole purpose of this, we were talking about Tennessee. We were talking about would a 9-3 Tennessee get in. When you come down to it, no, there's when you're looking at those last couple teams in.
Yeah, no, this was actually very good.
No way that a 9-3. Yes, there's no way. Because in the end of the day, when you're looking at a 9-3 team, when you're looking at a 9-3 team, you're looking at the last 4 spots in the playoffs, because outside of there's going to be 8 teams always in there. So unless you're going to be 1 or 2 in your conference, which you probably will not be at 9-3, you're going to be one of the last 4 teams. And the likelihood that a 9-3 Tennessee would get in that situation, keep in mind, right now we have 3 SEC teams in 8 spots. We have 3 of them as being the SEC. There is no way.
We know 9-3 is the line drawn. That was very good. Now we know. Everyone's chasing 10. Florida State, you have 1 more. You have 1 more to give.
But in the
you
ACC,
have 1 foul to give.
The ACC line 10 and 2 is still arguably might not be enough, because while I get what you're saying. While the top 2 teams in the ACC might make it in Clemson and Miami, a 10 and 2 FSU might, you might be on the outside looking in. And then you get into the argument,
these are the questions that we're here to ask. That's what we're looking at.
Would a 10 and 2 FSU get in over a 9-3 Tennessee?
Oh, yeah. This is what I think, though. I think this is where it gets interesting. Let's say 2 ACC are in, 3 SEC are in. We got 1 spot left.
So sorry, you said
I'm not
three
going to
SEC,
say the
two
names.
ACC.
Yeah, which realistically should not influence your opinion at all. But I'll just lay it out. 3 SEC teams are in. Only 2 are right now. Who makes it in? 10-2 SEC or 10-2 ACC? You have 2 seconds to answer. 1.
10-2 SEC.
Yeah.
It's a harder schedule.
It'll
It's
never be up
teams.
for debate ever.
Yeah.
Okay. This is actually that's where it's interesting. The line's at 10-2. How you get in or not get in. I think I'm trying to find an example of a year where a 9-3 Ohio State team would have made it. The only issue is Ohio State has never finished the regular season 9-3 in my life. So I can't find that data point. Ohio State only gets double-digit wins.
The strongest likelihood for a team,
but
it's so unlikely.
No, the only thing could be if this year 1, Kalen DeBoer, Bama goes 9-3, but they have a win over some SEC team in the playoff.
Like that's possible. Like in my mind, the only way a 9-3 team makes it is either 1, the schedule is so bad, like the season's so bad that a lot of teams are 10-2 or 9-3. 2,
no, actually, the only way I could see it happen is if there aren't enough 10-2 teams.
They're the last team in. Last team in is just 9-3. Or in some world, which is highly unlikely, the G5 bid is a 9-3 team. But that's so unlikely because the fact that the G5 bid will most likely be undefeated.
Yeah. Like for a second G5 team to get in, they got to be.
Well, no, I'm saying that the G5 bid, the singular bid, goes 9-3, which is so unlikely.
But I mean, they're already in.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like that's the only 3 situations I could see a 9-3 team sneaking in. Is either it's an auto guarantee.
Why would if the you're just saying because the G5 team is a 9-3 team. Okay.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Sure. I would say that was some bracketology right now. That was some bracketology real quick. No, that's the line though. 2 losses for the rest of the year. We'll be going off that. You need to get to 10 wins. That's how you're going to get in to get into the dance. I can't find an example of a year where there's a 9-3 team that would sneak in. Like last year, the 9-3 team was LSU. LSU would not have got in over any of those 4 teams of Missouri, Penn State, Ole Miss, and Oklahoma.
Yeah, no chance.
No, that was actually good exercise for all of us. I'd say if there's any other takeaway with that, I would say, my only other last takeaway is that a 9-3 Alabama, I think they would just get it.
Even with biases.
Also, that 9-3 Bama on the 11 seed. Watch out, 6 seed. Watch out. That'd probably be a Big Ten team right there. And would I take 9-3 Alabama or like the 3rd Big Ten team, which is probably going to be like Penn State. Yeah, you know my answer to that one. Roll Tide, baby. But this should be an exciting year of college football. I guess, real quick, if, maybe some general overall discussions of college football as a whole. I am so fascinated by week 1 USC LSU. I think so many narratives will be rewritten by that game.
Do you have any inside information on
no specific scoop on the situation, pure speculation. First, I want to say, as a Miller Moss stan, it horrifies me seeing the amount of people online putting in Miller Moss Heisman futures. Stop it. You guys are the problem. Stop it. What are you doing? Do you want to ruin something beautiful before it even gets off the tracks? No, you don't. Let that baby go. And I don't want to see this rat poison surrounding Miller this year. I'm done with the poison. The worst poison of all, though, is people out there saying DeAnton Lynn in one offseason is going to revolutionize the USC defense. We really need to slow the roll. We really need to slow the roll here, folks.
I'm sorry. I'm
with what front seven? With what front seven? Like, if you think USC in year 1 is going to walk in to that big house in week 3 and stomp them around, like, that's crazy to me.
It would have been so nice if that dude didn't drive into the Transformer.
Yeah, It's a damn
so
shame
nice.
because my CHR right now is banged up bad. Okay, my CHR is we're on the DL. I'm on the IR right now. Okay, my CHR is on the IR. Physically unable to perform first 4 weeks. He will miss the first 4 weeks of the season. Shout out Cooper Kupp last year. But yeah. Okay. Time to get into my college football position breakdowns. Oh yeah, last thing. Sorry, Michigan.
Oh, that's a devious look right there.
It appears as if maybe some things are coming out that are quite interesting.
Yeah, they got served for Connor Stallions the other day. I'm assuming that's where you're going.
Yeah, that. But Everett, what if I told you that there's new footage of not only Connor Stallions on the Central Michigan sideline, but what if I told you that there's footage of Connor Stallions in the ear of the defensive coordinator of Central Michigan during a third down stop against Michigan State? What if I told you that?
So you're telling me that there is an under the
Connor Stallions, his scouting network is so well trusted by coaches that Central Michigan will gladly take Stallions for a day so we can beat Michigan State. That's very interesting to me. I don't know.
Did they lose that game?
In my opinion, Michigan State won that game, of course. In my opinion, though, if I was Jim McElwain, head coach of Central Michigan, I'm not sure how likely it would be for me to just let a random guy I've never met in my life on the sideline in the ear of my defensive coordinator against Michigan State, which was probably one of their biggest games of the year ever. If I was Jim McElwain, I don't think I'd let a random guy advise my defensive coordinator against one of our biggest opponents of the season. I don't think I would do that. Maybe. Hey, I'm no football coach. I don't know. I'm just a water boy. What do I know? You know? I mean, at the end of the day,
hey, I know.
I mean, at the end of the day, all these Ohio State fans say everybody cheats. So look at these Suckeye fans over here complaining. Everybody cheats. Your guys illegally played when they should have been suspended for tattoos. So who's laughing now? Go blue, baby. Yeah. Seeing the mental gymnastics that this fan base has ran themselves over is beautiful, and also seeing every single Michigan personality when Jim Tressel was properly, by the way, forced to step down by the University of Ohio State. Okay. When that happened, there is a great archive of former Michigan players, coaches, staff, media members, all talking about how tainted Jim Tressel's legacy is at Ohio State, and how can you even take pride in any win knowing that your coach illegally allowed his players to trade in game-worn cleats, damn it, for tattoos? How can you even take an ounce of pride in anything you've done when you know your program is getting tattoos? How could you? I mean, over at Michigan, we would never stoop that low. We would never, ever do something as disgusting and inexcusable as cheating the game.
You know,
what do we have if we don't have the game, Everett?
You're on a tangent right now. I'm gonna have to cut you off. We gotta cut you off. We gotta cut you off here.
But I mean,
otherwise it might keep going for the rest of the episode. So
I just it boggles my mind seeing them out there have any ounce of pride. How do you not have any shame? Let's get
your list. Let's get your list here though.
But yeah, time for college ball position group rankings. Starting off with the Athletic Coast Conference. We could just call this one the DCC, Dual Coast Conference. Expands both coasts. AC position breakdowns. Here we go. Miami for quarterback, Miami for running back, Miami for wide receiver, North Carolina for tight end, Miami for O-line, Clemson for D-line, Clemson for linebacker, and Florida State for DB still. I know they just lost a game, but it wasn't the DB room that lost them the game. It was
every other position group on the defense. And DJU.
Yeah, okay. The one position group here that I'm most nervous to put my neck out for will be defensive line. Okay, I have Clemson as the best position group D line in the ACC. If you look anywhere online, you'll see a lot of Miami's, see a lot of Florida States. And for the Miami crowd, I will admit, yes, recruiting, talent, star-wise, you do have the most talented D-line. That is true. What the issue is, lack of production, proven production other than Ruben Bain, lack of proven production, and a lot of those five-star players are true freshmen who probably won't play that much. I will say though, Miami, I'm keeping my eye on you. I know you got Justin Scott. I know you got Lightfoot. I know you have dogs there. I just don't know in year one if they're going to pass the guys on your depth chart already. You guys already got some pretty good D linemen. But I would say for them, you're baking into it that they'll improve. Miami has not shown me that on the defensive side of the football. D line, no, I'm not ready to just give them that benefit of the doubt. Florida State also, they lost two very, very highly ranked defensive linemen. Holy shit.
Braden Fisk, Jared
Verse. Verse and Fisk both gone. And they did reload with a bunch of guys in the portal that came in that helped. Other thing though, you're kind of baking into it like a little hope and a little progression, hoping that they'll do better. And based off what we saw against Georgia Tech, Florida State's D-line is not quite the manhandlers that they had last year. But last up, Clemson. Their defensive linemen, they don't have any proven stars. Actually, the least amount of production returning on the defense line compared to the other two teams I listed. You know what the issue is? I'm baking into the count that Dabo Swinney 5-star defensive linemen turn out pretty good. And they got 2 5-star true sophomores who put up some very impressive true freshman seasons. I will say Peter Woods was playing, I believe, I think Clemson runs 3-4. So I believe he's moved from 5-tech outside to edge rusher this year, maybe 3-tech. Last year, he ranked as the 3rd highest true freshman in college football history in pass rush win rate. He ranks behind, I believe, Dexter Lawrence and Quinnen Williams.
Some pretty good guys. The only 2 guys out of him.
I expect a big step up out of Peter Woods this year. Big time step up. But yeah, those are my ACC position groups. A lot of Miami on offense, though. A lot of Miami.
I was not expecting them for running back, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, if we're talking a one running back, Amarian Hampton is the best running back in the ACC. But it is room here. And God forbid, but if Amarian Hampton got hurt, I don't know if there's another guy on North Carolina that can be serviceable. I don't think there is. Miami, I know they have guys who are serviceable. They just got a transfer running back from Oregon State, Damian Martinez, and then their backup running back, Mark Fletcher. Ohio State was flirting with him for a little bit, trying to get him to come to Columbus. He will be returning. Mark Fletcher's an absolute dog. So actually, he was formerly committed to Ohio State. Now that I remember, he was decommitted, went to Miami. So shout out the Miami Bagmen. They're putting in work. I wish we had them. But yeah, no, a lot of praise for Miami. And then, yeah, last up, Big 12. The DBs to subject to change, but we'll just do them all. Big 12 position group rankings. Arizona for quarterback. UCF for running back. And I want you to help me out. Dive into this a little bit afterwards. Colorado for wide receiver. Utah for tight end. Oklahoma State for O-line. Utah for D-line. Oklahoma State for linebacker. And Arizona for DB.
Yeah, so why is Ollie Gordon not?
So, once again, rooms. We're talking rooms here, people. The backup running back for Oklahoma State. Let me just, I don't want to be disrespectful. Let me pull him up. Let me pull him up. I don't want to be disrespectful.
Yes, the argument is rooms. When you have the best player in the nation at one position, that kind of needs to take some weight off of who
100%.
The backups
100%. It does. It does help out with weight. I would say this one thing though about Oklahoma State I was looking at. So first, well, Oklahoma State, they without question have the best O-line in the Big 12. They're returning 5 starters on the O-line last year. I also believe all 5 returning starters will be seniors next year. So
most experienced O-line.
An old experienced group with good chemistry. Yeah, I'm looking at Oklahoma State. So their backup running backs behind one of the best O-lines in Big 12 averaged 3.9 yards per carry and 4.5. Ollie Gordon averaged 6.2. Ollie Gordon's a dog. I'm not taking anything away from Ollie Gordon. He's the best running back in college football.
I hope you're ready to defend that in the TikTok comments.
Yes, this is the one thing about UCF. Everett, what if I told you that UCF is the only team in college football that returns 2 running backs that were top 10 in PFF grades last year at the position?
I would say I didn't know that.
So yeah, didn't know that. Fun fact. They return. Well, first they pick up big time transfer portal pickup Penny Boone. Penny Boone was at Toledo, was an absolute monster, absolute animal. He will be joining the UCF backfield. Also, still at UCF is their returning rusher from last year, RJ Harvey. Ran for 1,400 yards last year, 16 touchdowns. He will be back. Penny Boone also rushed for over 1,000. Also, we'll go 3 deep. UCF's 3rd string running back, Johnny Richardson. Please tell me he's still on the team. Woo! Johnny Richardson still on the team. Last season, he averaged, let me get this correct. Oh, he had 580 rushing yards, 6.6 yards per carry. UCF's 3 deep, OK State's 1 deep. I will admit, though, despite that gap, it was still up for debate. It was not clearly UCF here. I truly had to think, because like I do respect Ollie Gordon that much. When I was first texting you, I was like, should just be Ollie Gordon. He is that good. But I'll be at UCF. They have 2,000-yard rushing running backs and another running back coming back who averaged 6.6 yards per carry, put up 600 yards. Just as a room, they're pretty put together.
I mean, look, I understand that argument. I'm not going to sit here and contend with it. I just think that you're going to have people be like, doesn't fucking matter how many people UCF has. Doesn't matter. The same thing with
I'm cool
a Missouri Luther Burden, like best wide receiver in college football. People are just going to be like, it's the best fucking wide receiver, best running back in college football. Because of that, they deserve to be number 1.
Yeah, no, I that's how I thought for Colston Loveland at Michigan. Okay, like in terms of rooms, now this is also you're baking into trusted Iowa production, but like sure, Iowa 3 deep, 4 deep, sure they're deeper than Michigan. It's just like Colston Loveland's crazy.
Yeah, but our whole argument there was even if you're a tight end, you're a wide receiver, you or whatever, that doesn't mean you're automatically entitled to have the best position group at a single year.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of what are the unanimous use for position groups, I'm not sure if I gave any of them a nod. Maybe. No, I was gonna say Georgia's D-line. You don't think you could say that? So, yeah, I don't really know if I.
What about anything for Ohio State or LSU?
Because I got Oregon for receiver.
What about DBs for either?
I guess I put Ohio State as DBU, but I personally don't consider Ohio State DBU. So
I consider it between LSU and Ohio State for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say like at the end of the day, like the past couple corners to go to the NFL from Ohio State did not quite look great.
Doesn't mean that. I mean, you could be good in college and still go to the NFL. Like it'd be bad in the NFL. So
well, this is the
they
thing.
just look good in college.
What I think this could be a thing. When I think of DBU rankings, I bake into account how good you are in the NFL. That's just how I do
take into account that a little bit, but in the end, for a college to be considered the best university for a certain position group, it really, if I'm a recruit, I do value, if you're putting out talent to the NFL at a high rate, but I also care about how you look in college. Like, if you have just consistently the best corner room in college, they could go to the NFL
100%.
and shit the bed, but I'm still going to the best corner room in college, which means
like Iowa falls
I'm going
under
to
that
end up having a
example
better
very
chance
well.
to go to the NFL for that position group. It might be bad, but I'm going to have a better shot.
Yeah. And I mean, also just by nature, if like we say Iowa, I'm thinking Noah Fant. For every Noah Fant, you have a Kittle, Hawkinson. Give me more. Laporta.
Oh, we talking about Iowa?
Yeah, like for
Kittle,
every
Hawkinson,
Noah Fant you have 5 gems.
Laporta.
You got dogs. So
yeah.
By nature, sure, one of them's not gonna look great. But yeah, I just had one thought. Well, that thought's not gonna come out before the end of the episode. I think we're at our
we are kind of at our time constraint here. There's some, so I know we didn't touch on the NFL. We're gonna save that for next episode, is what it sounds like.
Next week we'll have many more NFL opinions in place going into first week of the NFL in 2 weeks.
The only comment I'll make, Justin Herbert, leader of men, took the elevator situation like a champ per Jim Harbaugh. So anyways, who else would have fucking happened to besides the Chargers? But with that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at WaterboyPod. Follow me and Grant on Twitter at Everett6 now at WaterboyGrant. We post new episodes every week on YouTube and all podcast platforms. Make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss a single episode. We also post on TikTok and on Instagram every week, so check us out there for exclusive content. And we'll see you guys next episode. Waterboys out.